Hello, welcome to Epilepsy Insight number 9. My name is Katie, and today I want to talk about the blood-brain barrier because in relation to epilepsy, it's a very important part of the brain, and it can have to do with increased seizure activity and increased sensitivity in general in your daily life. So, for starters, the blood-brain barrier is a barrier, obviously, and it is made up of tightly knit endothelial cells. Now, endothelial cells are located in other organs of your body, but the endothelial cells in your brain are unique because they are so tightly knit together. I mean, they're there to keep stuff out. And if something gets in and it shouldn't be there, they're getting it out. So basically, it serves as a protective layer between the brain and the blood because there are a lot of things that float around in the blood, molecules, toxins that aren't meant to be in the brain. So it's pretty simple, but unfortunately, the blood-brain barrier can become weakened. Now, this is called blood-brain barrier degradation. It is an unfortunate fact, but there are things like traumatic brain injuries, such as stroke, or aneurysm, even seizures after a long period of time, especially can begin to weaken the blood-brain barrier, and environmental toxins. Environmental toxins aren't necessarily mentioned as much as traumatic brain injuries are, but they are a very important part of the degradation of the blood-brain barrier because we are exposed to a lot of toxins on a daily basis, whether it's in our air or from our food or from the products that we use, like shampoo and conditioner, even soap, lotion. I mean, if you take a look at the ingredient label on the back of any of the cosmetic products you use or the toiletries, you're going to find a lot of chemicals, and most of those chemicals are not meant to be in the body at all, let alone the brain. And the endothelial cells in your blood-brain barrier know this, and they work very, very difficult to keep things out. Now, there are certain things that freely pass through the blood-brain barrier, no problem, like oxygen and water. So for these certain things, it's wonderful that they get to our brain, but it's unfortunate if we have polluted air. Then we have air pollutants coming into our brain, and then your blood-brain barrier has to work really hard to get them back out, and it kind of becomes a challenge. And not only that, your blood-brain barrier becomes overworked. So the more you expose your body to toxins, the more trouble and the more degradation your blood-brain barrier is going to experience. So it's important to take care of it. And there are ways to do this, such as eating organic foods. You can avoid pesticides that way. It's not just the grocery store trying to make you pay more for your food. It really is a wonderful route to go organic. And it's a wonderful route also to eat more cruciferous vegetables, such as broccoli. You get these vegetables and these foods in your diet on a regular basis that are filled with natural vitamins that are meant to help build up your blood-brain barrier, such as vitamin D and vitamin B. These two vitamins are crucial for the health of your blood-brain barrier. And unfortunately, they also happen to be two of the most common vitamin deficiencies here in the US. Personally, I am deficient in both of them. I don't methylate vitamin B very well, and vitamin D, I was just completely deficient in. You're supposed to have levels between 30 and 100, and my level in vitamin D fell at 1. So, as you can imagine, I was needed a lot of it to supplement it, but I've gotten it up now, and that's the good news. So getting a very well-rounded diet is a wonderful way to, in your daily life, just try and help out your blood-brain barrier. Another way is to avoid toxins like pesticides, and it is also important to, if you do have these deficiencies, strengthen with vitamins. So to see a doctor about this, to get information and learn more about it is always a wonderful thing to do. You know, they can help you understand exactly how much you need to take if you need it. But I always recommend getting a blood work panel done to see your vitamin and mineral levels, because if you do have a deficiency, the best thing you can do is supplement it. and correct the deficiency, and it's going to be great for your long-term health. So in relation to seizures and seizure triggers, when the blood-brain barrier becomes weakened, toxins and molecules that ordinarily should not pass through are able to. So you have toxins in the brain, and not only are they having a bad effect, but then your blood-brain barrier is also struggling and working harder to try and get them out. And it's causing a weakening of the blood-brain barrier, and it's causing other things in your brain, glitches and things like that, like seizures, to happen. And it also can happen more often if, say, a toxin comes through that I am especially sensitive to, and it causes a seizure. That's why I have seizures in reaction to some foods and my siblings do not. My blood-brain barrier, the state of it right now, I'm sure is much weaker than my sisters and my brothers. And so they can eat foods like that and have no problem. So it really depends on the person. Now, blood-brain barrier is a wonderful answer to things like allergies as well. Certain things cross over people's blood-brain barriers and it affects them in a certain way. And every body is going to react differently because each person is unique. However, the blood-brain barrier is responsible for keeping things that are toxic to your body specifically out. Therefore, you want to keep it strong. I mean, even animals have a blood-brain barrier. It's very interesting, and that tells you how important it is. It's there to protect your brain. It's there to keep the things in your blood that shouldn't be in your brain out. There are also certain parts of your brain that do not have a blood-brain barrier, like the pituitary gland, and that is because the pituitary gland has to have constant communication with the bloodstream. It's constantly putting hormones into the bloodstream. Therefore, it does not have a blood-brain barrier. But the areas of your brain that do, you want it to be strong. So if you're wondering why am I more sensitive now than I was before my diagnosis with seizures, with epilepsy, it's most likely because of blood-brain barrier degradation. So check it out and think about it. Think about your diet. Think about what you're exposing your body to and maybe what you can do to expose it less. And because in the long run, it's going to help you out and it's going to protect your brain and it's going to help you function the way you are meant to function. So I hope that this was helpful and I hope that you learned and it helped you out maybe with your current state of your seizure activity, because it's always frustrating when your increased seizure activity is a complete mystery. So if you have any questions, please comment below in the video or comment at all. You can always email me. My information is in the video below. And I'm always happy to try and offer my advice. So thanks for watching.